We only get 3 hours room per day. And it's going to take at least 8 to 12 hours because my computer is old and it hasn't been plugged in a very long time. It's going to take 8 to 12 hours for it to complete its downloads and updates. That's before I can do anything with it. It takes up to 2 full days for me to record or to take a 30-minute and have access to the evidence, which they haven't even seen. It did, and also the conditions that I live in. And this right here, this is just one bag of evidence. All right, out of 15, we've got several computers. I've got a ticket here that I can't pay because I have too much on my bed. There's too much. All my money's going to gasoline to run around. TFCC, the other place that I'm sent to for the protective services, is Northwest Senior and Disability Services. I've been to all of these places. There's a lot of people here in Tillamook an advantage of me. There's also a lot of ticket that I have. I'm overwhelmed. I'm doing my best to communicate. I'm cut off from communicating, and people don't understand how important it is to set up an actual time in a day and give me your complete and undivided attention. There's got to be someone who can do that. Somebody who can stop talking over me. Somebody who can stop ignoring my technical difficulties. Right now, my back is too screwed up for me to carry my computer into the library. They're not going to allow me a full 8 hours to do that. They'll only allow me 3 hours, and it's going to take me about half an hour just to set everything up. They close at 6 o'clock today, by the way. I'm going to go in there and I'm going to try charging my electronics, but I get horrible service in there. I got to try to communicate with people who now they can't get a hold of me because of because it's not okay to be honest. See, if you're bullied to the point that you want your life to end, you're not allowed to say that. You're not allowed to type that. When you go to people for help because you're being abused and they blow you off, and hundreds of people do that after telling you they'll help you, after telling you they'll take a look, after telling you they'll speak up, and then they don't, and they don't, and they don't. You beg them over and over again, please keep your word, but they don't. I know why they didn't. I told y'all why they didn't. I also recorded in their words why they didn't. And that's what I keep sending y'all. How hard I did try to get help, and how many people promised to help me, and how many of them were telling me that their lives and their families' lives and their children's lives were being threatened. What I'm dealing with right now is that I don't have the money to keep running around and doing this. I don't have help doing the paperwork to make sure that I get my disability money next month. I don't have a place to live here. I filled out the housing paperwork in multiple places. The problem is these are mandated reporters and they're supposed to do their job to help me to turn in my predators, not take advantage of my disabilities. And then there's hundreds and hundreds of people that I've sent overwhelming amounts of evidence to. They promise they're going to look, they promise they're going to help, and then they never do. They never come through. Many of them want to argue and say it won't do any good. Well, it does do some good for you to go in with the victim, for you to at least make the calls with the victim, help them turn in the evidence. It's hard. It would be a lot easier if people would speak up, if they would try to show my side and show the evidence that I keep sending them to. And you don't stop to understand how much time I have spent to send it to you, let alone these hundreds of other people. She's trying to call again. It's not going to work. I don't know why she's calling. It didn't let me connect with her. It didn't let me talk to her. I sent a few screenshots that show why. Apparently she hasn't seen them. I had to send them on Facebook. This is like the fourth call. Well, actually, it's like the sixth because she called twice earlier. I can't talk to her. It won't let me. That's because while my friends want to ignore this stuff happening, those predators are still at it, trying to prevent me from being in contact with people or showing evidence. Trying to destroy my Facebook, trying to destroy my YouTube. I need help speaking out about the people who are doing this, who continue to do this. And also about all of the laws that were broken to prevent me from showing this evidence. I want you to look at how many mandated reporters I have told about the child abuse and how many of them have actually taken it seriously and helped me to turn that in, worked with my disabilities instead of against them. All the computer stuff I know how to do is because somebody else helped me to do it. People wanted to accuse me of ripping a lot of people off for their money over 2 GoFundMes that were started. One of them by Candace Bondurant in my name. One of them by Cara Rogers in my name. Both of those women expressed that they were being threatened or harassed by police officers while with their kids or about their kids for trying to help me. One of them was in Florida. One of them was in northern Colorado. I have hundreds of recordings of people and their reasons for not coming forward. And their reasons for not coming forward are not the same ones that the police said. Most of these people promised that they would come forward. They just never found the time. And then they were angry when I spoke up. They were angry when I called them up and recorded the conversation to show that I'm telling the truth. These people do exist. These are not delusions. They're actual human beings. These are actual witnesses people should have talked to. But now many of those people are angry because in those conversations they admitted to things like being drug dealers, like being horrible friends. They talked about themselves and did everything you're not supposed to do to a victim. You're supposed to listen to the victim, give them your full and undivided attention, not to try to deter them from turning it in, to talk them out of turning it in, telling them, oh, it won't work, it won't work, it won't work. If you never try, it'll never work. At least I try. But I tell you how it is if I go in alone and what I'll be told. And sometimes it's in a nice tone, sometimes it's in a bullying tone. If you go back through and you listen to the conversations with all these witnesses, you get to hear their reasons for not coming forward. You also get to hear that I told the truth about the situations with them that I was there for. The situations that affected my decision-making and the decision-making of others. The people who were gaslighting me, and of course many of my witnesses, were arrested. Got a hold of me months or years later to say that they just got out of jail or prison. The problem is, the longer it takes someone to actually take the time to communicate effectively, which starts by listening, the more difficult it is for me. The more people are allowed to harm me, the more people are able to try to destroy this evidence, which should have been turned into the police a long time ago. And you get to see how hard I have tried to do that, to try to turn in the abuse against children. I have the words of the victims as well as their predators, multiple witnesses in these situations. When they allowed Officer Waylon Lolatai to get away with the crimes he committed against a Denver inmate, he moved to Boulder and committed those same crimes against me at the Boulder Hospital. And sight and sound of many mandated reporters. That's the reason that their body cameras were never released. They had to press false charges against me and hold those charges over my head and claim that they couldn't take a report from me because I still had charges against me. They had to drop all those charges, but it took 4 years. That's long enough that they're allowed to destroy the body camera evidence. On the body cameras, it's got the sound on it. It shows what I was really saying, what was really being said, not the narrative that the cops wanted to sell. There's a lot of witnesses like Michelle Rodriguez, and they're important to listen to. Also, I'm probably not pronouncing this right, but Miss Dolene, I don't have the ability to type to you or to listen to you in Messenger. I don't have that ability. I'm cut off from it right now. I also am cut off from the post office. I'm cut off from cleaning out my vehicle. I can't take care of myself, and people are not listening to that. They're also not understanding that as someone who is overwhelmed, I have post-traumatic stress disorder, and instead of taking the way that we express ourselves when we are not heard, especially as males, we are a lot less likely to be heard. We have to yell to be heard, especially here. Please hear us. I'm told that what my predators did, a whole bunch of people did to me, was not against the law. But then when I did it back, it's magically against the law, isn't it? Many of the things that people did to me, I can't do those things back. I don't have it in me to do such horrible things. The worst I have in me is to say that I could, but I couldn't. There was only twice where I actually threatened people. Both of those occasions to try to expose Kara Johnson Miles, to try to show the evidence that Shannon Alvarado should have come forward with me to turn in, but never tried. It was always an excuse. It's obvious she was aware of that situation. It's also obvious that she always wants to change the subject and make it about her. She's also angry because I told about her alcoholism and how it affects me and others. All that yelling is scary. It makes it difficult to get anything done. One of the issues that I have here is a lot of the parking lots that I've had to stay in, I'm not allowed to stay in them anymore. I got kicked out of there over abuse that I was trying to turn in. Abuse that's recorded. But I'm a guy and I'm homeless, and people don't want to see homelessness. They want you to move along, move along, move along, always. I've got police recorded nationwide kicking me out of places just for existing there. For trying to get help. I'm stuck in public trying to get help. Bunch of rules like at the library where I'm sent prevents me from being able to process the information. I have to actually get on a computer and go through all of the evidence and listen to all of it and process all of it. Over 6,000 videos on my YouTube channel. Some of them with multiple people being assaulted, choked out, beaten up, people strung out, finding stolen evidence, the people who actually stole my evidence, the fact that the police were useless and I had to go to alcoholics and drug addicts who did help me find my stuff. I had to pay people who stole my things to give me my things back because the cops wouldn't do anything. Daniel Brown, would you please stop typing that, "Hi, how are you today? Good morning, New Zealand." I get that you're from New Zealand. I'm going to end this video. There's so much to it. I need help with the ticket here. I need help going through at least 4,000 pieces of paper. A lot of this evidence I've already taken screenshot after screenshot of, picture after picture of, and I'm repeatedly having to go back through it. And the only things that I have to do it with, the tools that I have handy, I don't even have handy a place to plug in these electronics or a safe place to sit down and go through them in the amount of time it's going to take. My physical disabilities prevent me from carrying it in and out and in and out and in and out every day. If I had my own place, I could sit down with it and work on it. And I had my own place. Why don't I have my own place now? Because nobody would do anything about the people who threatened to kill me and threatened to kill my friends and family. and threatened to kill their kids, actually threatened to do those things, and actually assaulted me. And that includes police officers, like Dual County Sheriff Scott DaCosta, Officer Waylon Lolatai, and many others. Because of the slander that happened in the past, it affects my income now. It affects how people view me now, worldwide. Ms. Darlene, you've seen stuff. You've listened to it, and I don't know what language that is that it was in, but if you could post the link in the comment section here for my viewers, that would be much appreciated. Help to show how much of it that there is. Being able to set up a GoFundMe, I was trying to do that before Natalie died. I was willing to pay people $20 an hour to help me go through evidence and help me to go through the process of trying to turn in Natalie and Ted Bollinger and Tim Beeson and a lot of other people who were hurting me because I couldn't defend myself over things that were outright lies. I needed people to look at the fact that they were lies and that I was going to the right people. I was going to the police. I was going to mental health places. But all they were doing was committing Medicare and Medicaid fraud and ignoring me. Daniel Brown type dogs video. I'm good, please, good channel. I'm going to end this channel now. I'm going to take a screenshot. And I'm going to post this up for Miss Darlene. Yeah, there's a lot more to it. My hand is cramped up. Officer Waylon Lolatai's assault really screwed up my wrist. They assaulted me to try to frame me as somebody who would harm people, as some crazy person. But I'm not crazy, I'm overwhelmed. And as long as I'm overwhelmed, I can't function. So I need a safe environment where I'm not overwhelmed. When I've had environments where it was supposed to be safe, I still couldn't go outside, like in Chapel, Nebraska, because nothing was ever done about Chris Kurth, or about Carl Snell, or about Clint Snell, or about Leslie Snell, or about Scott DaCosta, and I was sent to Scott DaCosta about these people. How is that okay? It's against the law in the United States to do that, even in a small town. I went to the right people. They blew me off over the term mentally ill, and this is not okay.